Welcome to Fast Fridays presented by Maconi Setup Shop. We've revamped the format for this series, and tonight we have the GR86 here at Lime Rock Park as one of our qualifying races for the upcoming monthly money race next Friday night. For those of you that haven't joined us before, Fast Fridays is a weekly series presented by Maconi Setup Shop featuring a varying car and track combination each and every week. With the revamped format we're seeing now, drivers enter these races to qualify for the top 20 in points, making it into that money race. My name's Robert Hill Jr. Joining me tonight in the booth is William White, with David Kreutz working the controls as our producer. William, sports cars don't often make appearances here on Fast Fridays, but the GR86 at Lime Rock is a very, very fun combo for all the drivers in the field tonight. What can they expect as we have hit the track and we're getting ready to go green?
Yeah, as these boys just take the green flag here, obviously, like you say, sports cars not often a thing we see on the Maconi Fast Fridays. We're usually accustomed to the NASCAR stock cars on those higher banked ovals. So seeing these Toyota GR86s rip around a 1.5 mile road course here in Lakeville, Connecticut will be quite fun to see and very challenging for these drivers, I would imagine.
Absolutely. As we did just take the green, Tyler Merritt going to jump out to the race lead as Jeremiah Forbes has issues already with his connection, and we have lost the driver that was in the lead of this one. So your battle for the race lead currently on the racetrack as they head up the hill is Tyler Merritt and Michael Curran, two very strong drivers from the practice session earlier tonight, looking to get it done here at Lime Rock, which I know from my experience here, Will, has been a very fun racetrack. I'm not a road course racer myself, but I always have a good time here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those tracks where you'll kind of learn your trade on the iRacing.com service. Obviously, a free track you'll often see in the rookie Fanatec Global Mazda MX-5 Cup, but you'll see it at all levels from rookie down to Ace. You see third place, that's David Baz has just gone off into the grass overshooting turn one a bit there. Maybe overestimating how quickly he can catch that front two, but as I was saying, obviously Lime Rock, an incredibly fun yet challenging track to learn your trade on the service.
Absolutely. Another incident on the racetrack involving Hunter Parsons. He's come to a stop a little bit further back, but now going to sort himself out as just looking up towards that top five currently. We have Peter Franciscus and Sean Barry battling for third and fourth on the racetrack. We saw a little bit of contact earlier on between Jeff Maconi and Franciscus. And now, speaking of Maconi, he's going to be side by side with David Baz as Baz drives on driver's right here. He's going to clear Jeff Maconi, work his way up into the top five as these drivers all jockeying for position early on. Maconi going to fall back even further as Joel Hamilton goes by as these drivers wrap up lap number 2. We're going to see a deep dive by Maconi. I believe somebody might have just went off the racetrack behind. I heard quite a bit of tire squealing. Not seeing anyone with issues, though, as these drivers do continue on. The battle with Hamilton and Maconi does continue here for the 6th position, Will.
Yeah, we saw Maconi not get a great run off the final corner as he got overtaken by David Baz there, really compromised his exit speed. You saw Joel Hamilton clear him into turn 1, but that effort was much in vain for Hamilton as Maconi blew right back past him with a dive bomb down the inside of turn 2. He's back up into 6th place. I'm sure he's not going to let David Baz get away too quickly, and he's going to try and get his way back into the top 5 at the end of lap 3 here.
Absolutely. You know Maconi's not going to give it up too easily as Joel Hamilton has a major off-track moment there, able to gather it back up and get back onto the racing surface. As the battle for the lead is heating up, Will, it's Tyler Merritt taking a look way to the outside of Michael Curran. Was not able to get there now as they continue to jockey for that lead spot. Hunter Parsons towards the rear off the track once again. He's going to gather it back up, but these drivers doing a fantastic job all throughout. It's Curran and Merritt, Franciscus and Barry, Baz and Maconi. And now we see another incident on the racetrack. It's Jendrik Pogensi. He's going to go off the racetrack. And now Travis Finch, he's going to fall back after a little bit of contact between those drivers. So quite a bit of action already here, 4 laps in. I feel like we just started, but we're already 10% of the way in the books. And I have to ask you, Will, as a driver that does a lot more road racing than I do, what is the key to success here tonight? What do these drivers have to do to get their spot on the top step of the podium.
Well, it seems to me, obviously, we've seen a lot of incidents already in the first 10% of this race. The key for me with road racing is we see Tyler Merritt go off track a little bit, trying to get back past Michael Curran, but I think the key thing here is consistency, making sure you're hitting your apexes and your exits mainly, lap after lap, corner after corner. That'll get you a lot further than maybe being quick one lap, but binning it into a tyre barrier on your second lap. And it's these guys, Curran and Merritt. You see their lines are so consistent. They're hitting the apex every lap. Very minimal mistakes, I think. That little excursion from Tyler Merritt's the only real blip we've seen out of either of those two thus far in this event, and that's why they're so far out in front, establishing themselves as the real front runners in this race.
Yeah, definitely consistency going to be key for these drivers tonight. As we continue to watch the battle for the lead, it's Curran and Merritt duking it out for that first position. We have another relatively close battle on the racetrack. It's actually going to be a three-car battle. Jeff Maconi, Dean Farron, and Gabriel Gotti, they are all battling for that 7th spot, as Gotti going to work his way up into the 8th position, just ahead of Farron. A little bit of contact between those drivers, nearly going off the racetrack together, as Maconi has found a spot where he's comfortable right now in position number 7. Gonna try to maybe save a little bit of tire will, maybe find himself a little bit of speed later on and try to work his way forward. Joel Hamilton not too far ahead of Maconi, so still within reach, but definitely not wanting to push too hard too early. And as I say early, we're only a couple laps away from a quarter of the way through this.
Yeah, obviously they're ticking off those laps quick with these sub 60-second lap times that these guys are pulling off. Obviously they're going to know a lot more on the battlefield than we're going to do up here in the commentary box, whether they're going to have to pit for tyres at some point or pit for fuel. Joel Hamilton, though, makes a little bit of a mistake coming through the final corner. He's going to have some pressure from Jeff Maconi. Hamilton goes defensive on the inside of turn 1. Maconi's going to try and pull a little bit of a switch back, doesn't quite pull it off. That's a bit of oversteer through the mid corner. Try and get him on the exit. Down the inside, Maconi's there. That's side by side for 6th place. Joel Hamilton might have to concede this one. Maconi can't quite clear. Yes, he does. He's up into 6th place.
And Will, this 2-car battle has turned into 4, as Dean Farron and Gabriel Gotti have joined the tail of this one, just behind Joel Hamilton. A couple of camera shots ago, we did see Dan Farron try to work his way around the Joel Hamilton machine. Took a look to get past him when Maconi made that move, wasn't able to do it, but now taking advantage of the slipstream here, heading towards the straightaway and heading towards that start-finish line. We'll see if he's able to take advantage this time. 8 laps in the books now, as these drivers continue to tick off the laps and continue to battle for the positions in the midfield. Up front, 0.4 of a second separating Curran and Merritt, so not much of a battle necessarily going on up front, but battles all throughout this field as we're watching a couple of these guys duke it out for position. We see David Baz and Sean Barry 4th and 5th on the racetrack. They're having a good battle here. See who can work their way potentially further up into that top 4 as Baz temporarily goes off the racing surface, able to gather it back up, get on track right ahead of Sean Barry here. We'll see who wins out on this one, but Curran, Merritt, and Franciscus lead us here on lap number 8.
Yeah, we've seen the battle for the lead kind of die out just a touch, but obviously just fractions of a second between that front 2. Tyler Merritt definitely keeping Michael Curran very honest indeed, but we've seen all throughout the field, from first down to near the back of the pack, we've seen a lot of tight racing thus far. As you see, that 3-car fight for 6th place still heating up. Maconi leading that little train with Joel Hamilton and Dan Farron in hot pursuit.
Yeah, and right as you say that, Dan Farron takes a look to the left side of the Joel Hamilton machine. Move Hamilton back to 8th, Farron up to 7th, as now Dan Farron has his sights set on Jeffrey Maconi. Maconi currently in position number 6. There's multiple drivers have off-track moments towards the rear. Wickersham, Pagensi, they both go off the track. They're going to do a little bit of landscaping and get those cars gathered back up. But we're going to take a look here. Yeah, you see right there, Jendrik Pagensi. He just had a big off track, able to gather it back up, continue on, and now finds himself in a little bit of a battle with, I believe that to be actually one of the lap cars just ahead of him there. as these guys continue to duke it out. Will, good race so far.
Yeah, it's been a very good race so far. We're only a quarter of the way in, so who knows what kind of action we will have in store at Lime Rock Park for the remainder of this race. As we see Pontus Allenforce have a bit of a blink out there, but he's back and he's got the 30 car on his inside. Jendrik Poggency on his inside. They'll be side by side into turn 2. Poggency on the outside. He's going to try and clear the 26 car. He won't do so just yet. Allensforce not going to give it up. They're still side by side for 12th place. Allensforce manages to hold firm. He's going to keep 11th place. He lives to fight another day with increasing pressure there from Jendrik behind him.
Yeah, good move by Pontus Allenforce to work his way up into that 11th position. That another battle at the tail, and these guys are doing a good job. But now Jeff Maconi going to be under pressure. Here comes Dan Farron taking a look to driver's right. Not able to get there. He's going to get back in line, try to work up a bit of a draft once again, as that number 16 machine all over the rear end of the Jeff Maconi setup shop machine currently running in position number 6. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, these guys could potentially need to come down pit road for a stop of sorts at some point in this race. I do believe they have enough fuel to make it. As Sean Berry has been the car. Your 5th place driver has wrecked it, and he is not looking like he's in a good position right now, Will.
Yeah, that is a big crash for the 71 machine. You see the front bumper completely torn off. I think we're going to have a Maconi Entertainment replay here of Sean Berry's incident just at the top of the crest of the hill.
I think it just unsettles going up the hill. That happens way too often here at Lime Rock. Oh, yeah, it just starts as soon as he goes towards the hill and smashes into that tire barrier. I think the most intact part of the car is just the rear bumper. Everything else is broken. Yeah, you can see right there. He's unsettled from the time of entry.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of understeer going up the hill there. The car just doesn't have the front end grip to.
Well, his car is in chunks now, Will. That's
yeah.
that's something that you can definitely see now, but just so unfortunate for Sean Berry. He was having a great day, and while we looked at Sean Berry's incident, Dan Farron did get by Jeff Maconi and has now worked his way into position number 5 as a result of Berry's misfortune here not too long ago. Currently 12 cars on the lead lap. It's Michael Curran, Tyler Merritt, Peter Francisca, David Baz, and Dan Farron, the top 5, followed by Jeff Maconi, Joel Hamilton, Gabriel Gotti, Andy Brinksman, Jendrik Poggency, Pontus Allenforce, and Travis Finch, your lead lap car.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Sean Berry's accident, I think that just circles back to kind of the need for consistency that you need to have at these fairly long road course races. Obviously 40 laps at Lime Rock Park. It's about, I would say, just north of half an hour, which isn't a very long time, but it's long enough where consistency will be rewarded maybe over your typical hot lapping speed. So you've seen the guys that maybe weren't as fast as Sean Berry in qualifying and now ahead of him as a result of Sean Berry's car very unfortunately being in lots of tiny little pieces now.
Definitely a couple pieces of that car on the racetrack, but as we have a little bit of downtime in this race, I do want to let you know, folks, about next Friday night. It's going to be another money race here in the Fast Friday series. Next gen car at Kansas. It's going to be on the iRacing social networks, so on Facebook and Twitch. You can check us out there. And of course, if you want to join, you can head over to the Maconi Setup Shop website, sign up, and work your way into the next money race. And we hope to definitely have you with us. And of course, Maconi Setup Shop, the official setup shop of eNASCAR.
Now, I hate to interrupt you, Robert, but Tyler Merritt has just had a pretty big incident while we were having that little sponsor read there. He's hit the wall at the top of the hill, and I believe he's knocked his front left wheel out of alignment. That car does not want to turn right anymore. His front left wheel seems to be very much knocked out. That's going to have Michael Curran breathing a sigh of relief because Tyler Merritt was all over the back of him, and I think he just pushed it too hard, more so than the car had in it. And I think he's paid the price for that one.
That looked like a big battle just behind our top 2 that we're looking at Merritt, and now we have Peter Franciscus and David Baz they were all over each other for position number 3 as we ride on board now with David Baz. He's about 3 seconds behind the leader, but behind the car ahead of him, not as much. It's about 0.6 of a second. As is that Merritt off the racetrack? And I believe it is. Yes, Tyler Merritt gonna go well off the racetrack, drop to position number 4. That left front damage wheel doing a lot more bad than good at this point. You gotta wonder, does Merritt consider potentially coming to pit road? No, he's gonna stay out. I guess he figures he's just here to win the race, right? He's not necessarily here for anything but that victory, so gonna do whatever he can to keep his car going forward.
Absolutely, but if I'm Tyler Merritt, obviously, even if I'm still going 110% for that victory, I think I'm still coming down pit road. I believe these boys do have one fast repair to utilize, so I think if I'm Tyler Merritt, yeah, I would come down, make sure to uncheck in my black boxes and such, and to have that instant fast repair. I think I just cut my losses there. The track position, he can get it back. He's evidently been fast all race long, I think.
My biggest concern, Will, is the section that he just went through right there, through the uphill portion of this racetrack. If he enters it and his car is as unsettled as it has been, he's really welcoming the potential for a major incident like we saw a little bit earlier with Barry going deep into the tire wall. I think you're right. I think he should come down, take that fast repair. You can get back out rather quickly as the leaders do navigate by a lapped car. You just saw it in the previous camera shot. Gonna shake things up just a little bit now that you see David Baz. He's trying to work his way forward. That's John Casaza, the 13th place car that is the current lap car. He's got Merritt all over him. Merritt decided he was going no matter what. If Casaza was moving or not, he was just going to throttle down and full send it here at Lime Rock Park, the bull ring of road courses here on the iRacing service. That got a little close as I believe David Baz has wrecked it. David Baz.
Smoke there.
Wow.
He's still rolling.
He just went for a major spin there. Oh, that got close. Watching David Baz, he goes, yeah.
Does hit the wall.
With both ends of the car, gonna nail it there. Continues on. We'll see if he's able to continue in this race without any major additional incidents. He does take a pit side though, so David Baz gonna technically bow out of it at this point. So now your top 5 is Curran, Franciscus, Merritt, Maconi, and Dan Farron. So Jeff Maconi did get by Dan Farron a couple of laps ago, and Farron's still within reach of that Jeff Maconi machine.
Yeah, obviously big shout out to Dan Farron. He's up 9 positions since the drop of the green flag, starting 14th. Now has his eyes on 4th place, Jeffrey Maconi. He's very much benefited from this being a race of attrition, and he's trying to put Maconi under some pressure, see if he can put Maconi into a bit of a mistake there and make getting that 4th place a little bit easier for himself. But he's definitely piling on the pressure, definitely has the speed to try and get past him. We'll see if he can pull a move into turn 1. I think he's a little bit too far back, but Dan Farron definitely a big mover.
Side by side into turn number 1 is Gabriel Gatti and Joel Hamilton. Hamilton on the right side, Gatti on the left, as he's gonna lose that position out to the Joel Hamilton machine. Actually, it's opposite. I do apologize. Gatti going to get the spot over Joel Hamilton, all running very tightly together. That third car in lane is another lapped car, but out front in this one, Will, it has been Michael Curran basically from the drop of the flag tonight, qualified 3rd, took the lead basically right away, and now with just 21 laps to go, nearly halfway in this event, he continues to lead by 2.5 seconds over Peter Franciscus, who's had a rather quiet day, but with the way the top 3 has gone so far, I think a quiet day is a good day.
Absolutely. This has very much been a race of attrition. You see your top 2, Curran and Franciscus, have been absolutely mistake-free and flawless all race long, and maybe you could argue they weren't the first and second fastest cars, but they're the first and second cars on the racetrack because they haven't made a single mistake. They've been consistent, they've hit their marks, and they haven't put it in the wall anywhere, which is why they are where they are, and they definitely deserve to be. But we'll see, they've still got 20 laps to have to see this out and continue to not make any mistakes. There's a lot that can change in that time.
That's exactly correct. Is looking on the racetrack, currently battles that we have, Jeff Maconi and Dan Farron battling for position 4 and 5, and then a good bit behind them, Gabriel Gaddy and Joel Hamilton continue to duke it out for the 6th and 7th spots. As Gotti going to go a little bit off on driver's left, pick up a little bit of the grass. We're watching that Jeff Maconi battle. He's doing a nice job out there, holding on to position number 4 ahead of Dan Farron. These guys, of course, trying to get as many points as they can, make sure they're top 20 in the points heading into the money race next Friday night. That should be one heck of a race, by the way. And after that one, like you saw earlier on the schedule, one final money race after Kansas is going to be at Sonoma. So that should be good, as Maconi going to go by the lapped car of that is John Casaza. He's going to lose the spot. That's going to lead to another temporarily side-by-side battle between Farron and Maconi. Maconi going to hold on to that spot, but now here comes Farron looking to get a little bit of draft. We'll see what he's able to do. Are they able to duke it out for that position, or is Maconi going to be well on his way to a top 4 here tonight at Lime Rock Park? 19 laps to go, 21 in the books. Michael Curran, Peter Franciscus, Tyler Merritt, Jeff Maconi, and Dan Farron, the top 5.
Yeah, we saw in that previous lap before they encountered the lap car there. Jeff Maconi just fell slightly into the clutches of the 16 machine by about 1/10 of a second. We see Dan Farron really piling on the pressure now. Thought he might have made a move into turn 1, but I think he's just biding his time, waiting for a mistake from Jeffrey Maconi, or perhaps an opportunity to send one up the inside. We'll have to wait and see. Into the uphill here, will Farron make a move? He's going to think better of it for the time being. Maybe he's setting up a move into turn 1 here. We'll have to wait and see.
Wait and see, we will. He's got a bit of a straightaway to work with coming up, and Farron looking like the kind of driver that's gonna like to do a bit of dancing with that Jeff Maconi machine. We'll see what he can do. Gets up to the rear bumper, takes a look to driver's right. He's gonna set himself up for a deep dive into turn number 1. Let's see what he does this time. 18 to go. Here comes Dan Farron. He checks up not to run into Jeff Maconi. This is just going to stay a clean, green, and mean battle out here on the racetrack at the Lime Rock Park. Just looking back, Joel Hamilton, Gabriel Gotti side by side, Will, as they battle it out for position number 7.
Yeah, it seems to be a big battle there between Gabriel Gotti and Joel Hamilton. Andy Brinksman waiting in the wings, see if either of these two make a mistake. He's another big mover up about half a dozen positions there. So another kind of survivor in this race who hasn't really made many mistakes. Had a very quiet one. The number 2 just holding firm against the Dunkin' Donuts number 18 there of Joel Hamilton. We'll see if Hamilton backs up these last 2 corners before the straightaway. See if he also makes a little bit of a run for it. The number 2 dips 2 tires in the grass. Joel Hamilton's going to try and get the momentum off the corner. He's going to be right there. He's going to have the slipstream. Does the 2 choose to go defensive? Brinksman waiting in the wings. He's right there as well. Does he make a move on Joel Hamilton? We'll see if anyone pulls out. They choose not to. 17 laps to go here at Lime Rock Park.
17 to go. These battles remain, but one thing that stays the same is Michael Curran leading by about 2.5 seconds over Peter Franciscus, and he's got 5 seconds of his own back to the 3rd place car of Tyler Merritt. And Merritt, we saw him go off earlier, just saw him go off again as he continues to run there in the 3rd position. We continue to look at the battles throughout the field. Dan Farron and Jeff Maconi duking it out. Farron got by for position number 4. Maconi gonna have to try to work his way back up towards the rear end of that number 16 machine. Speaking of 16, it's 16 laps to go for Michael Curran. And of course, behind Maconi, we see the 3-car battle again. 6th, 7th, and 8th. It's Gotti, Hamilton, and Brinksman. Hamilton's been so close, Will. He's had the opportunities to take the high-risk move and get by the Gabriel Gotti machine, but honestly, do you take that risk, or do you stay in line, wait till the end, where your chances of losing positions is a lot lower than that it is right now?
I do think Joel Hamilton and Andy Brinksman know that they both have the pace to make up 1 or 2 positions here before this race is all said and done. So I think the pair of them are just kind of biding their time before making a move on Gabriel Gatti. See Joel Hamilton right on the back bumper, but choosing not to swing out there to the inside of the number 2 machine. Obviously, he knows that there's still time to make that all decisive move. 15 laps to go. That's about, what, 8 corner track. That's about 120 opportunities to send one up the inside. So he might not take this one into turn 1. He might thinks better of it this time by. But yeah, I think the bravery levels are only going to go up from here, but they're still pretty timid for the time being.
Well, you speak of bravery, and just a moment ago, Joel Hamilton was bump drafting the Gabriel Gatti machine. Now he's falling back a little bit, looking like he's trying to set something up, get a little bit of a run around that 2 machine. And it's just taking a look through the field, seeing if there's any other close action to necessarily talk about. And I don't think so. I think this is the closest battle that we have throughout. We're looking here at a couple of lap cars on the field working their way around. I believe that's John Casaza currently doing his thing. Is actually that was not a lap car. I believe that was the leader we just saw in the Michael Curran machine. No, it was not.
I believe that's Pontus Allenfors.
That was Pontus Allenfors, yeah.
Machine,
currently running 10th. Oh, that is a battle for position, actually, between Pontus and John Casaza.
Yeah, I think Casaza just got overtaken there by Pontus Allenfors for that final top 10 spot. But we see Brinksman really starting to put the pressure on Joe Hamilton. Gabriel Gatti got a little bit more of a gap than he did to Hamilton last time by at this part of the racetrack. Maybe Joe Hamilton has heated up those tyres a little bit too much, has a little bit less purchase in the car, a little bit less grip. We'll see Brinksman maybe back up these final 2 corners. That's very much been the name of the game. If you want to make a move into one big braking zone on the track, that's for turn 1. We'll see how Brinksman maneuvers through the final corner. Takes a lot of apex curb there. He's going to have a decent run. They start snaking. Gabriel Gatti trying to break the slipstream. He's going to go defensive. Does Joel Hamilton choose to pull out? He does not. They remain in the train for the time being. There's 13 laps to go.
So the conductor of that train currently is Gabriel Gatti as they continue to battle for that 6th position. Going to work their way by the Pontus Allenfors machine. He's going to be off on driver's right as he's currently side by side with Joel Hamilton. That's exactly what Gabriel Gatti wants to see out of his rear view mirror, and exactly what Joel Hamilton does not want to be part of. He does not want to be side by side with a lap car. Andy Brinksman actually has to back out of it as he was going to be side by side with Pontus Allenfors going up the hill portion of this racetrack. Now Allenfors gets back in front of Brinksman here, gets a little bit sideways. And if I'm one of the lead lap cars, I'm getting a little bit frustrated, especially with Brinksman. He's going to lose all that ground that he had and potentially lose his opportunity to battle for that 6th position with Gatti and Hamilton as they're able to pull away. And we just saw Pontus Allenfors goes off the track. John Casaza works his way back into the top 10. And Will, I got to ask you here, with 12 to go, what do you think are the main passing areas of this racetrack? You mentioned turn number 1. Is there another area maybe that you would set yourself up to make that move to get that position towards the end of the race?
Yeah, like you say, turn 1 is very much a hot spot for overtaking, the longest route on the track. Turn 2 is also a decently big braking zone. If you could pull a bit of a switchback move on the exit of turn 1, that kind of second little apex that you see these guys taking just into
that is the battle for the lead, Will. What just where did the time go for Peter Franciscus to be able to close that gap so rapidly? He was 2.5 seconds back not too long ago. Now just 0.3 of a second, 2.5 tenths. We have a battle. Choo-choo, we're coming through. It's time to duke it out for the race lead as Curran goes off, nearly gets into the wall going up the hill. Here comes Peter Franciscus. He's arrived on scene. He's ready to duke it out, ready to throw down the gloves and get that spot as he's all over the rear end of Michael Curran here heading for the front straightaway. We'll see if he has an advantage into that big passing zone in turn number 1.
Yeah, we see 10 laps to go here at the line when they cross the stripe. Peter Franciscus evidently putting the pressure on that 24 machine. We saw him have a little excursion at the top of the hill. That's really the first mistake we've seen out of Michael Curran all night long. All of a sudden, though, Peter Franciscus has turned on the heat as he is right on the back of that number 24, who has remained largely unchallenged since Tyler Merritt's crash earlier in the race. But we'll see what Franciscus can do. Obviously, his pace has obviously been electric to get to this point, but he's now kind of hit a roadblock where obviously he's got a car in front of him. There's a lot of that turbulent air that's going to be taking away some of that front end grip in the corners. He won't be able to take the optimum line and the optimum kind of minimum speed through every single corner. He's going to have to try and catch him on the straights. As you see, he's right on the back bumper here. Is he going to back up this last corner to maximize the run he gets, taking a lot of apex curb, a lot of exit curb, maximizing the minimum speed through the corner? He's right in the slipstream. Curran's going to go a little bit defensive. Franciscus to the outside. This is a potential pass for the lead. Who dares blink? Lars Franciscus still on the outside. He's going to hold firm on the outside there. Curran on the inside. Franciscus on the outside. They're going to remain side by side into turn 2. Franciscus now has the inside line. He's going to take the lead. Maybe not quite. Curran's still holding strong. He's not going to give this up without a fight. But there he goes. Franciscus takes the lead with 9 laps to go.
What a power move there by Peter Franciscus, able to hold it on driver's left, hammer down, and he was able to work his way out to the race lead. Now leads by 0.7 of a second over Michael Curran. Curran has not had to be the trailing car at any point throughout this event. Now finds himself 3/4 of a second back of that race leader. So what a wild sequence of events that's just happened here in the last couple of laps. Coming to 8 to go this time, and Peter Franciscus out front and doing a nice job. But is he going to be able to hold it down? Obviously, Michael Curran knows how to get out front, knows how to stay out front. Is he going to be able to find his way back to that front of the pack? And if so, how's he gonna do it with just 8 to go? Time is ticking away as these guys, it's the 2-car dance for this victory at this point. Obviously, anything can still happen, but it's looking like it's going to be between Franciscus and Curran. Is throughout the field, we do still have battle.
Big accident.
Hamilton and Hamilton together. Oh no. I was just gonna touch on that on the battle, but the battle turned into 2 cars in the guardrail. As we watch the replay machine here, ooh, there was a bit of help.
That was definitely a bit.
He dunked his donut right there, that's for sure. As he's gonna send both of them into the wall. That's not gonna be a coffee date after this one. So, yeah,
I think keep those two a little bit further away from each other in the interview pen after this one. I think Gabriel Gatti went a little bit defensive. Hamilton went for the gap. We see more contact there. Was that the 30 car that just went around? I think Poggency.
It was Poggency as well, yes. And he's actually gotten by Hamilton as a result of the issue that Hamilton just had. So now Hamilton, of course, sitting on pit road. He's going to take that fast repair, but how long is that tow going to be for him to get back there? I'm assuming probably 2-3 minutes just to return to the pit box. Already finds himself multiple laps down. So it's just unfortunate for Joel Hamilton. Was having a strong run inside the top 10. Now essentially out of this one. But Franciscus leads. Merritt going off the racetrack again. And we're going to have a battle for third brewing right here. That is Dan Farron. He's catching up to the Tyler Merritt machine. And folks, if you remember, Tyler Merritt got the outside wall a little bit earlier, having some handling issues on that car. You see, he has to swing it hard to the left just to get it to turn right here, as Dan Farron going to get all over the rear end of that machine. And we've seen Farron race hard, race aggressive, but race clean so far tonight. But I wouldn't be shocked to potentially see the bumper come into play between those two drivers. This is the closest battle we have on the field. Coming to 5 to go this time. Peter Franciscus leads by 0.6 of a second over Michael Curran. And then these two duking it out, heading up the hill. Here comes Farron, going to take a look to driver's right. The battle's on for third here, Will.
Yeah, Dan Farron really got the run off the crest of the hill there. He's on the inside there of Tyler Merritt. He's going to fall back in line as Tyler Merritt hangs firm in third place there on the outside. But off the final corner, Dan Farron's going to have the slipstream. Tyler Merritt's going to try and break it as best he can. That 38 machine really not handling well with that left front damage. Just throwing someone up the inside. He's not got much time left, just 5 laps to go, but he's going to hang tight for the time being. I think he knows that the ball is in his court and that he has to make the move to get past Tyler Merritt.
It's definitely in his court at this point. I think the Dan Farron machine handling a lot better than that of Tyler Merritt. We've seen Merritt go off drivers right, drivers left. Now he's going to go off on the left side once again, and Dan Farron going to make that move Dan Farron into the 3rd spot. The final step on the podium is they're going to come to 4 laps to go this time. And just an update, folks, Peter Franciscus now leads by 1.3 seconds over Michael Curran. So this is going to be a very upsetting loss if it sticks for Michael Curran. Was the dominant car early on, had a multi-second lead, and now trails by 1.5 seconds with just 4 laps to go. So just unfortunate for these drivers as we see Dan Farron go by the Pontus Allen Force machine. We're looking at the leader now. Actually, no, that is 2nd place Michael Curran. I'm just so used to him being the leader. Now he's in 2nd place, trying to chase down Peter Franciscus. Coming to 3 to go this time, William White.
Yeah, we saw Michael Curran lose over 0.5 seconds to Peter Franciscus last time by. Franciscus has absolutely turned on the heaters. Maybe a little bit too much. He's in the grass a little bit there. But I think mistakes like that won't be punished too hard. It seems like everyone's making some mistakes out there. I think just keeping your car, at least mostly on the black stuff, seems to be rewarded here. But Peter Franciscus has been absolutely lightning quick in the second half of this race. He closed that gap in the blink of an eye and has now pulled away, like you say, to about 1.5 seconds in front of long-time leader Michael Curran. He's got less than 3 laps to go now, about 4 miles on the track, so not long now until he's home free and he's going to take the checkered flag.
That's exactly right. 1.5 seconds lead for Peter Franciscus. Now, obviously, Will, we have to mention that anything can still happen at this point. Obviously, a lot of racing still to go, 3 laps. Coming to 2 this time, the popsicle sticks will be displayed, but one quick step off of the racetrack could throw that 1.5 seconds lead right out the window and right into the hands of Michael Curran. So don't write this one off as of yet. Obviously, like I said, lots of racing to go. 2 to go to be exact as we're hitting the line. This time, popsicle sticks in the air, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what Michael Curran has to do now, obviously he has to get a move on if he wants to still win this race. He's got 1.5 seconds still, the gap to Franciscus, but I think both of these guys, number one aim now is to just remain consistent. Yeah, I think Franciscus has to stay consistent for the sake of maintaining the lead. Curran has to stay consistent for the sake of maybe waiting out a mistake from the 29 machine, but that seems pretty unlikely at the moment. Franciscus has been pretty consistent for most of this race, and just as I say that, almost hits the outside wall. Both of these boys really pushing it to the absolute limit here at Lime Rock. And now coming out the final corner, it's going to be white flag in the air. 1 lap to go for Peter Franciscus, currently leading this race in the 29 car.
Like you mentioned, white flag in the hands of Barney the Flagman. We are just 1 lap remaining here at Lime Rock Park. It has been all Michael Curran and Peter Franciscus from the drop of the green flag. Franciscus leads by 1.9 seconds now. Curran just going to have to find a way to settle in and just hold on to that 2nd position. Don't do anything too crazy to try to get up there to catch Peter Franciscus. 1.9 seconds is a bit too hard to make up in less than 1 lap. And throughout the field, no other battles going on. So the top 5 as they run is Franciscus, Curran, Farron, Merritt, and Maconi. The top 5, Brinksman, Gotti, and Poggency. The rest of the cars on the lead lap as Franciscus works his way around the final few corners. Here he comes to the line. Checkered flag. Peter Franciscus wins Fast Friday at Lime Rock.
Brilliant performance there from Peter Franciscus there.
Battling does continue for positions on the racetrack. Looking throughout, it's Gabriel Gotti and Jendrik Poggency duking it out for position here, Will.
Yeah, obviously the check flag's out for Franciscus, but we can't forget these boys still duking it out for the final few positions. Gabriel Gay starts to do everything he can. He goes defensive into the third to last corner there. Poggency on the outside, Gatti on the inside. They're going to bang doors slightly, but they're going to keep it on the racetrack. See if Poggency has anything in the final corner to try and get past Gabriel Gatti. He's going to break the slipstream as best he can. Gabriel Gatti going to just hang strong for that position there as they cross the line.
He did everything he possibly could,
Whoa,
and he's going to hold on. He wrecks him at the end of it as a way to say either thank you or something else. But these guys had a absolutely phenomenal race here tonight at Lime Rock. Again, your top three, Franciscus, Curran, and Farron, with Merritt and Maconi rounding out the top five. Great drive tonight by all of these guys throughout the field as we take a look at the race results. Well, like we mentioned, the top five, just outside the top five, Andy Brinksman gets by Gabriel Gatti as a result of the incident with Hamilton. Gatti in seventh, Jendrik Pagensi in position number 8, John Casaza in ninth, and Pontus Allenfors rounds out the top 10. As you see the rest of the field on the screen, the drivers that were able to start the race tonight: Joel Hamilton, David Baz, Travis Finch, Sean Berry, and Steve Wickersham round out the top 15, with Emiliano Cortez, Hunter Parsons, and Jeremiah Forbes rounding out those that started the race. Of course, Forbes falling out on lap number 1.
Yeah, it was just some brilliant performances out of tonight, especially Peter Franciscus, just extremely fast and consistent, managed to take the lead from Michael Curran in the latter half of the race. Just extremely strong and definitely a deserving win. Obviously, credit, of course, to Michael Curran, Dan Farron, Tyler Merritt, Jeff Maconi, all incredible finishes as well to get into that top 5 in what was very much a race of attrition tonight.
Absolutely. Why don't we step away real quick, take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll see if we could talk to some of those podium finishers. It is Maconi Fast Friday at Lime Rock Park. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
There is a reason that Maconi Setup Shop is partnered with more real-world tracks and companies, including Junior Motorsports, than any other group on the iRacing service.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at Lime Rock Park. It's Fast Fridays, brought to you by Maconi Setup Shop. Just wrapping up this one here, and it was a great victory by Peter Franciscus ahead of Michael Curran and Dan Farron, and actually now standing by with our co-commentator tonight, William White, is second place driver Michael Curran after a great performance here tonight.
Michael Curran, it's William up in the booth. You got a copy, my friend?
Yes, sir, I do.
So firstly, congratulations on the second place finish. Obviously, maybe one position down from what you'd hoped kind of a little way into this race. But how would you summarize your night overall at Lime Rock Park tonight?
Yeah, it was. I wish it was a little less eventful with Peter catching me there towards the end. I was hoping I could sail away. Started up front and was hoping the pack behind me would kind of battle it out and lose time to me. But credit to Peter, man. He was fast. He tracked me down from way back, and I made one or two mistakes. I know one big mistake was hitting the wall on the uphill corner, and I think that really cost me. So yeah, like you said, I wished it was one spot better, but a second place is a strong showing still.
Yeah, definitely a strong showing. Obviously, this is a very atypical combo for Maconi Fast Fridays. We typically have the stock cars on the ovals and whatnot, but we have sports cars on road courses today. What do you think was kind of the biggest challenge that you had preparing for this race and during the race itself?
Yeah, exactly. I'm mainly an oval racer, so coming to the road course is definitely a different flavor, a bit of a challenge. So really, as I found out as the race went on, saving the left front was a huge key to keeping my pace up, and I didn't do a good enough job at it. So clearly, I needed a little bit more practice. So, but that's what makes this series, great. It's a different combination every week, and it presents different challenges for everyone. So it makes it fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, before we let you go, any sponsors you want to shout out for getting you that second place tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to thank Maconi Setup Shop and Jeff Maconi for putting this all together. You guys up in the booth for bringing this fun to the fans, and friends and family that help support me along the way.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations on second place once again.
Thank you very much.
That was Michael Curran, your second place finisher. And now I'm joined by Peter Franciscus. Peter, it's Robert up in the booth. You get a copy?
Good evening.
Good evening. Congratulations on your victory here tonight. Why don't you walk us through that one? And how did you get the lead towards the end there? Were you holding back a little bit throughout this one?
Yeah, to be honest, it's been about a year. I think, yeah, over 12 months since I've driven this track, and it's been the first time actually I've driven this car. So the track and car combo was absolutely new for me in the beginning. I was just struggling a bit to find the right line, to find the right break point. And then once I managed to settle in, then I was okay. Let's chase down numbers 1 and 2, and I actually had a lot of fun. And
It definitely did look fun, Peter.
yeah, and just a few laps before the end, I managed to go on the outside on turn 1, stay on the outside turn 2, had the inside on turn 3, had a little love tap with Michael, and then once I was past him, then it was all about saving the front left.
So I gotta ask, Peter. Obviously, coming in, picking up the win here tonight. Can we expect to see you in more of these Maconi Fast Friday events going forward?
Definitely, yeah. This has been a lot of fun. So yeah, Friday nights for me it's 1:50 a.m. now. So yeah, definitely in for more of this good start of the weekend.
So I guess for you, it's more like a Maconi Speedy Saturday rather than a Fast Friday. But before we let you go here tonight or this morning, Peter, any sponsors you want to thank or shout outs you want to give?
I want to do a big shout out to Angry Beaver Racing. It's my racing team. We have a lot of fun, and of course to you guys from Maconi Setup Shop for broadcasting this event and also sponsoring this. Yeah, so thanks a lot.
Congratulations once again, and we look forward to seeing you again for another Fast Friday event.
Definitely.
Well, that was our top 2 drivers here tonight after what was a great night here at Lime Rock. Why don't we go ahead and get some final thoughts from you before we sign off for the final time this evening?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the action on track very much spoke for itself. We saw battles up and down the field. There was a lot of banging of heads on the track. We saw some guys make some mistakes, kind of lock horns a little bit there, but ultimately I think consistency and kind of long run speed prevailed. Peter Francisco's taking the checkered flag in a very, very, I wouldn't say dominant. He didn't lead the most laps. That one obviously went to Michael Curran, but he led when it mattered and he had the speed to capitalize. So, yeah, no, it was a very, very interesting race to watch and a great finish as well.
Yeah, absolutely. A phenomenal race by everyone in the field. Obviously, lost a good chunk of them due to attrition here this evening, but everyone that was able to make the laps, be there at the end, all put on a fantastic show. Great side by side battles, great beating and banging off the doors of each other, pushing each other to the absolute limits. And at the end of it, it was the driver that maybe we didn't necessarily see taking the victory towards the end of this one, but able to sneak out the last 9 laps, take the lead, and never look back. But that's just about going to do it for us here on Fast Fridays here tonight. Don't forget, folks, next Friday night, we'll be back with the money race. It's going to be Next Gens at Kansas. That can be seen here on Maconi Entertainment or on the iRacing Broadcasting Network, which is Facebook, Twitch, and any other sort of website that iRacing broadcasts from. So, on behalf of myself, Robert Hill Jr., my co-commentator tonight, William White, our producer, David Kreutz, we want to thank tonight's race sponsors, Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Competizione, for bringing us all this action here. We want to thank you, the viewer, as well, for watching tonight's race, and we hope you'll stay tuned to all of our social media pages for our next Fast Friday race, as well as all of the broadcasts that we're glad to bring to you. And don't forget, folks, tune in each and every week for our broadcast of the top split of Maconi Setup Shop C-Fix series on the Maconi Setup or Maconi Entertainment YouTube page. And of course, folks, this has been a production of Maconi Entertainment, and we'll see you at the checkered flag. Have a good night, everybody.